For 100 years, the kingdom of Ethelgard had no ruler. The great hall of the kingdom sat in dust and silence. At the center of it stood a throne. They called it the Gilded Grave. Beautiful, terrifying, and completely empty. Legend whispered that the throne was alive. It had been cursed by a sorcerer long dead, so malevolent that the moment a usurper's skin touched its velvet, their heart would simply stop. It wasn't just a rumor. The people had seen it happen. Decades ago, brave generals, blinded by arrogance, marched up those steps. They sought to claim the kingdom. They sought glory. But the moment they turned to sit, they collapsed, breathless, lifeless. Fear is a powerful teacher, and the kingdom learned its lesson well. The king was dead, the lineage was broken, and the people chose to be ruled by no one rather than risk the wrath of the throne. They walked past the palace with their heads down, terrified that even looking at it might invite death. But fear is a learned language. And there was one boy in the entire city who had never been taught to speak it. He was an orphan, a drifter, a street child whose only ruler was hunger. He knew nothing about history. He knew nothing about curses. One cold afternoon, when he noticed the palace doors slightly open, he wandered in without a second thought. He didn't see a forbidden temple. He saw shelter. He was just cold, and the palace doors were ajar. He slipped past the heavy oak doors, his bare feet making no sound on the marble floor. The room was vast. The shadows were long. But the boy's eyes locked onto the one thing that looked soft, the one thing that looked comfortable, the chair. He walked toward it, not with the heavy stride of a conqueror, but with the tired shuffle of a child. He climbed the first step, then the second. Somewhere in the shadows, a hidden guard gasped. A watching elder covered their eyes, waiting for the boy to drop dead. But the boy just kept climbing. He reached the seat. He turned around, and with a heavy sigh of exhaustion, he sat down. The entire kingdom seemed to hold its breath. He swung his legs back and forth and leaned his head back. 1 second passed, then 10, then a minute. He didn't die. He didn't suffer. In fact, for the first time in his life, he rested. The guards burst from the shadows, spears drawn, trembling. The elders ran in, their faces pale as ghosts. "Get down!" they screamed. The curse will take you." The boy looked at them, confused. He looked at the throne, then back at the terrified adults. "There is no curse," he said softly. "It's just a chair." The oldest advisor walked forward, tears streaming down his face. He touched the boy's hand. It was warm. And in that moment, the advisor realized the truth. "The curse," he whispered, "was never on the throne. It was on our minds." The previous kings hadn't died from a magical curse. They had died from the sheer, overwhelming stress of their own belief. Their hearts had stopped because they believed they would. They had let a lie rule them for 100 years. It took a child, someone too innocent to know what he was supposed to fear, to break the invisible chains of the kingdom. The boy became king, not because he wanted power, but because he reminded them that fear is often borrowed, passed from mouth to mouth, heart to heart, until it becomes truth. My friend, let me ask you a question. What is the cursed throne in your life? Is it a new career you're afraid to start? A relationship you think you don't deserve? A dream you've been told is impossible? How many years have you spent staring at an empty seat, afraid to take it because someone else told you it was dangerous? The boy who wasn't afraid didn't just break a curse. He reminded us of something powerful. Ignore the stories, climb the steps, and sit where you belong. If this story awakens something in you, subscribe to our channel for more tales of wisdom. Share this with someone who needs to conquer their fear today.